Google's NotebookLM has launched Cinematic Video Overviews, a milestone in multimodal AI learning. It transforms static text into immersive, high-fidelity video experiences tailored to your personal notes. Powered by Gemini 3 and Veo 3. Multiple models collaborate to generate fluid animations and rich visuals. In this update, Gemini acts as a creative director, making autonomous decisions about narrative and style. This democratizes high-end production, giving everyone access to a Hollywood-grade creative team. For talent development, this requires a task redesign from content producers to experienced architects. We can now achieve personalization at scale, creating unique training directly in the flow of work. Welcome to the new era of personalized media and smart learning. The future is here. Let's watch the video generated by NotebookLM new features and explain how it works.
All right, let's just jump right in. I want you to picture something. What if you could take all your rough notes, maybe a super dense report, or even just a bunch of random ideas, feed them into an AI, and out the other side comes not a summary, not a text document, but a full-blown movie. It sounds like something out of a sci-fi flick, right? Well, that's exactly what we're talking about today. It's real. I mean, really think about that for a second. We're all just drowning in information, aren't we? These massive documents, super complex research papers, don't even get me started on endless slide decks. Now, what if you could just skip all that tedious reading? And instead, you could just sit back and watch a gorgeous, perfectly paced little film that explains everything. Well, that's the exact problem this wild new tech is trying to fix.
And right there, that's the big change. It's a huge shift in how we think about AI. For so long, we've seen AI as just a tool, right? Like a really smart spell checker or maybe a fancy Photoshop plugin. We were the boss. We had to tell it exactly what to do every step of the way. But not anymore. Now, the AI is taking a seat in the director's chair. It's the one calling the shots.
So, okay, let's officially meet the star of the show here. Google just rolled out this new feature called Cinematic Video Overviews inside its NotebookLM tool. And look, this isn't just some minor update. No way. This is basically redefining what we even think an AI assistant can do. And this comparison here just nails it. The old way? You were the director. You had to sit there and write these super detailed prompts for every single shot, every camera angle, the whole vibe. Now, you just hand over the script, your notes, and the AI handles the rest. It's making all those creative choices, from what it looks like to how the story flows. Yeah, this quote from Google's own announcement really says it all, doesn't it? The AI isn't just a passive processor anymore. It's a creative director. It's graduated from just being a tool to being an active partner. It's not just following your orders. It's figuring out what you mean and turning it into something creative. So the big question is, how on earth does it actually work?
All right, let's pop the hood and see what's going on inside. Because this thing isn't just one single giant AI brain doing all the work. It's a little more clever than that. It's actually a whole team of specialized AIs all working together. The best way to think about it is like a professional film crew. First, you've got the director. That's a big language model. It reads your notes and figures out the main story, the themes, the whole point. Then you've got the VFX artist, a really powerful video model that creates all the stunning visuals. And then, and this is key, you have the script supervisor. That's another model whose only job is to constantly double-check that every single thing you see and hear is actually faithful to your original notes. Pretty smart, right? So here's how the process breaks down. First, the AI dives deep into your notes. Then it pulls out the main story. It decides on a look and feel, and then it makes the movie. But that last step, step 5, that is the absolute game changer. It self-corrects. The AI literally watches its own movie, finds mistakes or things that don't make sense, and then fixes them, just like a human editor would. It's this constant process of checking and fixing that makes the final video so polished. Okay, so this is cool tech, for sure. But what does it actually mean? Well, the first huge impact is going to be a total revolution in how we learn. And I'm not just talking about fun little videos. This is a seriously powerful tool for understanding complex stuff. You know that feeling, right? We've all been there. You're trying to get through some super dense textbook, or you're staring at a chart with a million data points, and you just feel your brain kind of shut down. That's a real thing. It's called cognitive overload. Your brain is getting hit with too much information in a way that's hard to digest, and so you just don't remember it.
And this is exactly where this cinematic AI comes in and just flips the script. Look, traditional methods like, slides with a voiceover, they work. But our brains are just fundamentally wired for stories. When you watch an immersive video, it hits you on so many levels: sight, sound, emotion. It takes abstract ideas and makes them concrete. And that makes a massive difference in how much you actually remember later. So what's the bottom line here? It's simple. When learning feels like entertainment, we actually want to do it. Think about it. For a student, a boring history chapter can suddenly become this incredible documentary. For someone at work, a dry 50-page report turns into a quick, insightful video briefing. You're not forcing yourself to study anymore. You're just choosing to watch something interesting.
But it's not just about learning. The impact here is so much bigger. This tech is about to completely democratize who gets to make high-quality content. I mean, just look at this timeline. Yesterday, if you wanted to make something that looked cinematic, you needed a studio. You needed writers, animators, editors. You needed a lot of money. Today, you need one person, a subscription, and a good idea. That's it. The entire massive pipeline has been shrunk down to almost nothing. This really drives the point home. Suddenly, everyone has a Hollywood production team sitting right in their pocket. The barriers are just gone. A startup founder can make a product demo that looks as slick as something from Apple. A scientist can make their research look like a Netflix documentary. It's incredible. Okay, so let's take this one step further. If everyone, and I mean everyone, has a movie studio in their pocket, what happens next? Well, it completely changes what we value. It changes the value of an idea itself. The rules of the game for creators are being completely rewritten as we speak. For so long, your edge was how good your stuff looked, right? Your fancy editing, your great graphics. But what happens when anyone can get perfect production value just by clicking a button? That edge just evaporates. The new place to compete is your own mind. It's all about how good, how deep, how unique your original ideas are. Just pause and think about that. We're entering a world where making the idea look good is basically a solved problem. Anyone can create a stunning video. So what's the real value of content anymore? It all circles back to the source material. The value isn't in the shiny packaging anymore. It's in the raw insight. It's in having an idea that's so good, so different, that it deserved to be made into a movie in the first place. And honestly, that's a future that puts human creativity right back at the center of everything. And that's pretty exciting.